Hi everyone, and welcome to part 2 of my tutorial where I show how to make one of these light sculptures called Wave, and I want to make this now in bar maple. Glue has dried and I have the two pieces. So now I need to take out the spacers. I have to make the two holes for the dowels at the bottom. Now the first thing I need to do is to make my back plate. I lay the finished pieces now on the back plate, on the wood, and draw out the back plate. Having planed the sides, we can glue them up. Let it set for a while and then clamp it up. Now the pieces that are glued together, we will cut them out on the bandsaw to approximately the final shape. Now cutting on the bandsaw is quite dangerous. For in one, your fingers are no match for the bandsaw blade and will not survive unhurt getting caught in the blade. So keep your fingers as far away as possible when guiding the wood through the bandsaw blade. The second part is because of the shape is hollow, there's a cavity on the inside, there is not all that much wood which can be cut away without damaging the whole thing. So you have to be very careful when cutting that you do not cut too much away. This can happen if you get caught up in the wood or if you are paying attention to one area of the wood and you're not seeing what's going on in another area. And it would be a pity after all this work to destroy it. So you need to be very, very focused and very much on the ball when you're working with a bandsaw like this. But it saves so much time later when you're sanding, because the shape is already pretty much the way it's supposed to be. Now the two pieces have been cut out on the bandsaw, the form is taking shape, and now I have to start sanding them. To sand them I use a sanding wheel which I can put on the drill, and it takes a belt sander, small belt sander, sanding paper. So now I'm going to start sanding them down. The sanding wheel is a great tool for sanding down my work because I have very organic forms with a lot of curves in them. It is great because it can follow all these curves, and the transition from one piece of wood to the next piece of wood is always very, very smooth and very much organic and follows the curve and the shape of the piece I'm working with very well. It also raises a lot of dust, and I either work outside, but I My workshop is in an old paper mill, and there are some derelict halls, and I can set up my workbench and do the work and just let the dust fall. You also have to be very careful doing this work, because working with an 80 grain sandpaper, especially on the fine ends, you can take away too much also and wound the work. So always have to pay attention to what you're doing, and to, especially on parts where there are dowels in them, that you don't cut away too much and the dowels stick out, which would be a pity. Now the two elephants have been sanded, the first rough sanding with 80 work to be done, so the fine sanding will be done when that is completed. Using the dowel points, I will position this on the back plate. Position it up the way I want it, and then press down firmly. Now I have all the points marked. After the back plate is finished, we can put on the two elements. I put a bit of wax on it, so I have to take them on and off quite frequently. And they are meant to fit very snugly. I draw the outline again. The back plate now has been cut out on the bandsaw at a 13-degree angle, and another one so that it could be nicely rounded afterwards.